Hello, everybody. How you doing? I don't know whether look at that. I got the screen straight now. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the big show. My name is Mickey. This is Mickey in the Middle, the quintessential show for Middle Americans, where all Middle Americans are welcome. It doesn't matter where you've been, doesn't matter where you're going. It just matters that you're here right now. And more importantly, it does not matter what your demographic is. I don't care. About your religion. I don't care how tall you are. I don't care what your nationality is and historically. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care who you prefer to hang out with. I don't care about any of that. You know what I care about? I care about open, frank discussions about what can make it better, what can make all of our lives better. So today we're actually going to talk about a controversy that's out there, and I call it the "you, me, and us" version of the world, because that is what we're all talking about every single day. All of us talk about you, me, and us, because the most important people on the planet are you, me, and us, because what's right for me might not be right for you. What's right for you might not be right for me. However, we got to live on the same planet. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about you, me, and us. So before we go any further, we're going to get to the chat Olympics for Mickey in the Middle. Congratulations, Carolyn Greggs Ledger. I swear, when this show starts, it has to go to Carolyn first, because she is always Carolyn Gold Medal Greggs Ledger. She is always winning the gold medal. So I don't know how the internet works, but maybe the internet goes straight through Carolyn's house first every single time. So, Carolyn, congratulations on the gold medal. That is awesome. And then Susie, silver medal, gold. It's got to go. Susie takes second place so often that it's got to go first to Carolyn's house, then it's got to go to Susie's house. And then Steve Hayes and everybody else that's still out there in the rest of the world gets the internet after those two, because Steve Hayes won the bronze medal today. So congratulations to bronze medal winner down in Florida, one of my good friends, Combat Steve Hayes. That is absolutely fantastic. So, hey, everybody, how you doing? So today I'm wearing my gray Oklahoma State University hat. Thank you very much. My daughter is visiting, and today I had to go out and I had to go get stabbed in the eye with a needle. See that eye right there? That eye right there. Got stabbed with a needle today. Now, my vision is blurry. My eyes might still be dilated. I don't know. Are my eyes still dilated? I can't really see, but my eyes are probably dilated, and these lights are very, very bright. So I got stabbed in the eye today, because that's what we do in America when we have a problem. I got to have a problem in my eye, and the drugs to fix it. So I went to see an eye doctor. First of all, uh, Kevin Livingood is an eye. Uh, he's an eye person. He's a ophthalmologist here in Cabot, Arkansas. He saved my wife's vision. She saved it. He saved it. He found something in the back. Her vision flipped upside down. Can you imagine that? Just one day having all of your vision flipped upside down. So anyway, he figured out a way to fix that. He saved my vision. He got me into a retina specialist, and uh, they had to start stabbing me in the eye. And they were like, "Hey, we're going to take this drug. We're going to put an injection into your eye." And that didn't work. I got stabbed in the eye for a year before I changed doctors, and I went to a new doctor, and he stabbed me for a little while. And then he's like, "Hey, man, we got to try a new drug that just came out." Now, this new drug is very expensive, because if you want to inject something into the eye, you've got to do a tremendous amount of research on that. And you got to find out if it's going to have any negative effects. So I don't know how many people get this injection into their eye, but my eye's actually getting better. And I'm so thankful for the pharmaceutical companies that are out there that have the ability to go and do this. So it's very expensive, but the reason I'm telling you this is I'm thankful that we have doctors and ophthalmologists and retina specialists, because although that stuff is very, very expensive, We've come to the point where we can't live without it. We can't live without an MRI machine. We can't live without, different medical processes and procedures that are trying to make life better for all of us. Uh, and right now, I just want to tell you, a lot of those folks that are out there need prayers. So today, I'm going to ask for a very, very specific prayer. The first, so is there's a little guy that is out there. He's tough, man. Kid's tough. He's been putting up with a lot of stuff, and anybody he needs prayers. His name is Mason. And here's what you need to know about Mason. He's a little fella, and he's had a lot of medical problems, and he's struggling right now. But he is a great kid. He's always smiling. He's got a great attitude, and he needs our prayers. So if you guys could all throw up a prayer for Mason, that would be absolutely awesome. And Mason's family, and then the people that are caring for Mason, because that is also important. And I cannot tell you how much your prayers would mean in Mason's fight, in his medical fight. So that's the first thing. So anyway, finger on the trigger. Yeah. So Carolyn's like, I got my finger on the trigger every time that you come on the internet. All right. So let's talk about uh, you, me, and us. Me, and us. Here's the reason why you, me, and us is important. I was sitting around 4th of July with my cousin Chris up in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and we didn't really talk politics, right? We weren't really talking politics at this party that we were at. But later, he and I were alone, and we were sitting there smoking a cigar, and we were having some beverages, the adult kind. And something came up, and I don't even know what triggered the conversation, but he said something that kind of got my attention, and I had to give it a lot of thought. And he said, does somebody have the right to pollute the air that you breathe? And I was like, well, I don't know. And he says, well, take it further. Does somebody have the right to pollute the water that you may end up drinking or you have to feed to your uh, animals? Does somebody have the right to pollute the ocean? Does somebody have the right to do this? You know, and I started thinking about that. And I was thinking, we all have a lot of rights, but we have to balance all those rights out with conditions that are suitable for the rest of us on the planet. And right now, we have so many different nations that are living under so many different conditions. It's absolutely mind blowing to think about you, me, and us. Because you, me, and us really is you, me, us. And then the rest of the world as an adjunct to that. And I started thinking about all of the issues that we have today and about how those things are being misrepresented and conflated into meaning things that they don't have anything to do with. Uh, for example, the easy one is self protection. In Heller and the Second Amendment in the Supreme Court, in Heller, they said that you have the right to protect yourself. Now, the intent of that is that you have the right to protect yourself everywhere. And what New York is doing, New York is saying, yes, you have the right to protect yourself everywhere except where the government runs things, like in schools and in hospitals and in buildings and in parks and at playgrounds. And they've come up with this entire list of places that you cannot carry a firearm for self-protection because they have decided that. And also, we were talking about global warming, and global warming is, hey, although you exhale CO2, how much of the atmosphere is actually belongs to you? If we took 8 billion people and we divided the atmosphere up, everybody would end up with a certain percentage of the atmosphere for themselves, right? 1/8 billionth of the atmosphere would belong to you if we divided it up by the number of people that were here. However, that's not the way the atmosphere works. So self-protection is an individual thing that I can carry with me that affects nobody else. But the environment It's something that affects all of us. So we start having these thoughts about what is right for the atmosphere. And then my thought process continued to how we treat each other, because everybody that disagrees with us is being treated like a criminal. If you disagree on global warming, you might agree on global warming, but you might disagree with the solutions for global warming. Then all of a sudden now it's you care more about the atmosphere than I care about. It's not true. Or the people that are progressive and believe in global warming, and all of a sudden they want to tell me what to do, and I'm like, hey, look here, man. I believe in a different solution to that. But now they can get militant because they're like, you are polluting my air. You are polluting my environment. You are killing the planet on which I live. And the whole idea behind that is, if you use that to the extreme, then that means that you can accuse everybody of everything. Everybody that drives a car is guilty. Everybody that exhales is guilty. Everybody that uses any type of petroleum product is guilty. And really, we share the earth, and really, we share the resources of the earth. But the simple fact of the matter is that although we share this, do I have to comply with what the most extreme concept of saving the planet means? And I don't know the answer to that. All I know is that you have to have reasonable conversations back and forth, so that uh, if somebody says, I want you to stop driving cars, and I want you to stop using petroleum products, and I want you to stop breathing. No, no, and no. You can't do that, right? That is where the world is, though. There's a whole bunch of people in the world that are like, hey, man, we need to do everything we can in the United States of America to cut our CO2. And they don't give a shit about China. They don't care about Iraq, and they don't care about what's going on in India. They don't care about the global powers that are out there that are polluting the atmosphere. And even if they do care, they can't do anything about it because people like Xi and Putin run that part of the world. There's brownouts that are going to be happening in Texas coming up. And I want to show you this because this is important, because this is what's going to happen in our society if we don't fix this. This right here is a story by Bloomberg. Texas wind power is failing right when the state needs it most. By Bloomberg, wind power, key source of electricity in Texas, is being sidelined just when the Lone Star State needs it most, with turbines generating less than a tenth of what they're capable of. Now, why is that? Because the summer doldrums are here. The wind's not blowing. So they have all of this potential. And Texas literally committed to wind power and to solar power. But if the wind doesn't blow, now all of a sudden, you don't generate electricity. This is what happens when you let a radical agenda lead everything. Because all of a sudden now, the rolling brownouts in Texas, they're also being brownouts in New York. There's brownouts in California. There's brownouts in a lot of different places that have gone with renewable energy sources. And somebody pointed out the other day, they were like, well, we need to go to electric as soon as we possibly can. The problem is we can't go to electric. We use all of the electricity in the United States that we can generate right now. We use all of it. And if we go with electric cars, that means we need twice as much electricity, which we're already at 100% capacity, in order to do all of our cars. What are you going to plug your house? What are you going to plug your car into if your house is already having brownouts? It's a scorching heat wave in Texas. It says it right here. A scorching heat wave is pushing the Texas grid to the brink. Power demand is surging as people crank up air conditioners. But meanwhile, wind speeds have fallen to extremely low levels. And that means the state's fleet of turbines is just 8%, as at 8% of their potential output. Texas may be America's oil and gas hub, but it's also been the country's biggest wind power state. Renewable energy sources become highly politicized. Some critics blame frozen wind turbines for the Texas grid failure this winter, but that was more or less a natural gas energy thing, too. This is the conversation that we need to have on every single issue is what is the middle ground? Where is Mickey in the middle? Where are we supposed to be? Because when my cousin said, you're not supposed to be allowed to pollute my air. Well, I'm going to pollute some of it because I've got to have electricity in my house for air conditioning, I guess, but I need to have lights. I need to have the internet in order for me to do my job. I need to be able to have roads which have asphalt on them. I have to be able to burn gas so I can live in today's modern day economy. Now, all of a sudden, you're saying that I can't do any of that? And they're going, well, and here's the thing is Chris and I agree on a lot of things, but we could not determine where the line is for all of these issues. And, abortion is one. Abortion, all or nothing, that's the choices that we're given now. It's all or nothing. And not everybody believes in the all or nothing thing. The majority of the world has settled on 14 to 16 weeks. That's what the majority of the world has settled on. But I don't want to tell one person or another what they're supposed to think because I believe that everything is a compromisable position. On guns, it's got to be a compromise. On the environment, it's got to be a compromise. On oil and gas production in the United States, on our economy and how we work, how we deal with digital currency, how do we deal with mass transportation, how do we deal with the homeless, how do we deal with the criminally insane, how do we deal with the prison system, how do we deal with policing, how do we deal with social aspects of the world, how do we take care of the poor? How do we take care of the poorest of the poor and of the incapable of taking care of themselves? Those are a lot of questions, and that's what this show is all about. This show literally is about how do we reach the compromise? Susie says prayers for Mason, his family, and the medical staff. That is amen. Don Schwinger says, remember, almost very, there you go. Don says, remember, almost everything made uses petroleum products. There is absolutely no doubt about that, Don. I love it when Swing shows up. And then just like Enron in California and Drill Baby Drill. Oh, I love this one. Drill Baby Drill. I started thinking about this. The oil companies, and President Biden could have worked together in order to say, hey, look here, at what price will Americans start switching to electric? What do we have to do? Do we have to restrict drilling in Anwar? Do we have to restrict drilling offshore? Do we have to restrict this? Because the oil companies are going to make their profits, no matter what the price of gas is. But they know it's going to be a dying industry. So they know that it's going to be a dying industry. Right now, electric in China is skyrocketing. China is the number one country for the use by percentage of electric vehicles. They have electric vehicles everywhere. You got to remember, they're producing the majority of the solar panels that we have in the world. They're producing the majority of the batteries we have. They own the majority of the mines that we need for heavy metals and for the metals we need to put inside of electric vehicles. And therein lies the problem with us as it relates to China and India and the rest of the world, because Germany has been an abject failure using solar and wind, and their electrical prices have skyrocketed. Meanwhile, in France, they're building nuclear power stations, and because they're building nuke plants, their electricity is falling and falling and falling. And that's what we need to do. We need to figure out what we need to have in the United States of America, because we haven't built a new nuclear plant in the United States of America in 50 years. It's absolutely crazy as shit. But it doesn't seem like anybody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to have this conversation, because it cannot be on the extreme ends. It cannot be all or nothing. But the people that keep saying nothing, 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 the progressives that say the end all be all see all is global warming, fail to recognize the fact that if they turn off oil and gas in the United States of America, we do not have the infrastructure, nor do we have the capability of providing electricity for all of our needs in transportation and in housing, which is going to directly relate to winter and summer having an adverse effect on the number of people in the United States. And that means that we're going to start killing people, especially low income people, which is horrible. That if you don't have some modicum of success in the United States of America, and all of a sudden the price of electricity goes up, and we don't have enough electricity for everybody, that the price skyrockets, you have your shit shut off first, you get rolling brownouts, and you end up dying because you just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time at the wrong temperature. So anyway, I thought that that was a very, very interesting conversation that I had with my cousin Chris, because he's really smart. And I started thinking about what he said, and we really, and then the last thing that he said was, we elect people, we elect people that are supposed to make those smart decisions. And those smart decisions are supposed to then be handled by the agencies of the United States of America. COVID. I'm telling you, more people in my life have COVID now than they have in the last 2 years. I got a couple of family members that have COVID. I got a couple of friends of mine that have COVID. Uh, but the CDC and masks, when I went to go get my eye stabbed today, COVID was on everybody's mind, and everybody had to wear masks in the building. Uh, I know that people missed meetings with me in the last couple of days because of COVID, and I know some family members of mine have COVID. That means that COVID's coming back. But the CDC, and Chris's point was, is the CDC is the government agency that is supposed to be the smartest on this, and they're not supposed to lie to us. And at one point or another, we got to trust them. And the same thing goes for the EPA and the Department of Education and the Department of Transportation and the Treasury and the State Department. And I was like, I don't trust any of them. I don't trust government bureaucrats and government officials, because if they're a government official and I didn't personally elect them and I can't get rid of them because they're a government employee and they're in a government union and I can't get rid of them, that means that we have no recourse except we have to file a lawsuit in order to stop them from being stupid. So this is where Congress comes in. This is where your vote comes in. You have to be very, very smart, and you have to be proactive when you start talking about who's going to be getting elected in your district and in your state. You have to be proactive, because if we're going to say that, if we're going to elect all these people that are saying that the most important thing in the world, in the history of the world, is global warming, and they destroy oil and gas in the United States before we're ready to have it destroyed and thrown on the back burner, we're going to flip our country upside down, and we're going to end up in a third world nation. And we're going to end up killing a lot of people because they push it too far, and they don't have the ability to stop or shut up because they don't understand that we're not ready for that. And they're going to drive us all into the poorhouse by making us pay money to these great, big, huge oil and gas companies, which are paying taxes, and that is paying taxes, and that is doing everything. So as the price goes up of gasoline, also the taxes go up. So the government is doing this kind of on purpose to raise money. The federal gas tax is enormous. They make tremendous amounts of money on that. If you double the price of gas, you double the income, you double the tax that's going to the government on every barrel of oil and every gallon of gasoline that you have. Think about that. So when the government does that, they go, hey, let's get out of this economic bind we're in. And then finally, and this is the last thing, we have a lot of money in the country. We have a lot of money. We're no longer sitting on farms and on ranches and tilling the soil. We're no longer building houses out of sticks. We can all afford, most of us can afford to go on a vacation every once in a while, afford shoes, not be able to go out to dinner every once in a while. That is the money that we're going to be losing if the government keeps on this track. Because as the price of energy goes up and we have to pay that, not only does the government get more money off of that, but it sucks money out of the lifestyle that the United States Americans have built over the last 150 years. You got to remember, we all used to be in the fields, and then we were all working in the factories. Now we're all working at some type of a job where we have a modicum of success and we have the ability to advance and hopefully retire with a couple of nickels in our pocket. We can run them together. But if we keep letting the government do what they're doing, they're going to suck all of that money, all of that prosperity, all of that out of the middle class, and we're going to have to give it to corporations and the government in order just to keep them afloat with their stupid ideas. So Carolyn says a classmate, here he goes. Carolyn says a classmate who lives in Texas said that on Facebook who was going to go out and unplug people's cars. No, that is true. That is true, because if you're having brownouts, should you be plugging in your car? If you're having brownouts, should you have your car plugged in? Right? And then Dawn said, "Give me freedom." Amen. Amen, Dawn. I'm with you right there. And then Don Ledger says, the flu vaccine changes every year. Why not a COVID vaccine? And they might do that. Here's the thing is, I've taken a COVID. I've got the jab. I've got the booster. I've been COVID vaxxed and boosted. Just saying. Maybe I need another one. I don't know. I'm not going to have any kids, and maybe my heart will stay together. I don't know enough about the vaccine in order to do that. So, but anyway, hey, that's going to be tonight's show. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you showing up. Remember, Mickey in the Middle, Monday through Friday, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Central, right here wherever I am, right there wherever you are. Cannot tell you how much I appreciate your comments. You make the show better. You give me a bunch of great ideas, and I hope you enjoy yourself. So remember to like, share, hit the notification bell. Tell all your friends about it. Love to hear them and love to be able to say hi. Thank you very much for your prayers for Mason. I greatly appreciate that. And let's pray for our country as well, because our country needs all the prayers we can get it. You guys all be good. You guys take care. Have a great night. And remember, good night, small one. I love you. Bye-bye.